Welcome back after that short break. You're watching the Indian News Hour. Let's quickly recap the top headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes stock of situation at the Air India Ahmedabad plane crash site and the hospital. Barring one miracle survivor, 241 passengers and crew killed in the London-bound flight on Thursday. Formal investigation underway in the crash incident. Government constitutes high-level committee. DNA sampling process for relatives underway. US investigators ready to help in Air India crash probe. Condolences pour in from across the world. US President Donald Trump expresses grief at the tragedy. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer calls crash devastating. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also expresses grief. Iran plans harsh response. Iraq closes airspace after Israel targets Iran's nuclear facilities, missile factories and commanders. World leaders express alarm. US says not involved. India urges its nationals in Israel and Iran to remain vigilant and adhere to the safety protocols. Embassies of India asks the Indians to exercise caution and stay close to safety shelters. US appeals court allows Trump to keep National Guard deployed to Los Angeles for now, temporarily pauses lower court's ruling blocking the mobilization. Now, another big news that we are tracking for all the viewers at DD India News Hour right now is that Israel has struck Iran, targeting its nuclear plant and military sites. Israel said it has also targeted Iranian commanders and missile factories, its ballistic missile program and its Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Israel declared a state of emergency, with Defense Minister Israel Katz saying that retaliatory action from Tehran was possible following the operation. Now, an Israeli military official said Israel was striking dozens of nuclear and military targets. The official said Iran had enough material to make 15 nuclear bombs within days. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations said Israel has an ongoing dialogue with the United States, but its determination to strike Iran was an independent Israeli decision. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a recorded video message. Now, Israel targeted Iranian scientists working on a nuclear bomb in an operation that would continue for days.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Now, Israel's attack on Iran on Friday killed country's powerful Revolutionary Guards chief Hossein Salami. Iranian state media has confirmed the killing of Salami in the Israeli strike. Nuclear scientists Ferdoin Abbasi Davani and Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi were also killed in Israeli strikes on Friday. Iran's Revolutionary Guards vowed revenge after the killing of its chief in Israeli attacks on the country. Now, Iran's foreign ministry has said that the United States will be responsible for the consequences of Israel's adventurism. In its statement, the ministry said the Israeli attack exposes global security to unprecedented threat and calls on the international community to condemn it. Also, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that Israel would suffer severe consequences after launching deadly attacks. Khamenei said Israel will receive harsh punishment following the attack. The Iranian Attorney General's office has also issued a statement directed at social media users and media outlets. The statement urges them to avoid discussing topics that could disturb the public's psychological security. Iran's Civil Aviation Authority said in a statement that Iran has closed its airspace until further notice. And in view of the current situation in Iran, Embassy of India in Iran has issued an advisory for all Indian nationals and persons of Indian origin in Iran. The advisory says all are requested to remain vigilant, avoid all unnecessary movements, follow the embassy and social media's account and observe safety protocols as advised by the local authorities. Embassy of India in Iran has also issued an advisory for all Indian nationals that has advised to stay vigilant and adhere to the safety protocols by the Israeli Authority and Home Front Command. The United States Embassy in Jerusalem issued a security alert in the early hours of Friday too. The alert said, and I quote, "As a result of the current security situation, the U.S. Embassy has directed all U.S. government employees and their family members to shelter in place until further notice," unquote. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has stressed that Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb and that the United States was hoping to get back to the negotiating table. In a recent interview following the start of Israeli airstrikes in Iran, Trump said, and I quote, "Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb and we are hoping to get back to the negotiating table. We will see. There are several people in leadership that will not be coming back," unquote. Meanwhile, Trump will attend a National Security Council meeting on Friday morning, the White House said late on Thursday after Israeli strikes. The White House said that the meeting will be held at 1500 hours GMT on Friday. Earlier, the Trump administration sought to distance the U.S. from the strikes, with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, calling them a unilateral action. He said Washington was not involved while also urging Tehran not to target U.S. interests or personnel in the region. Now, Trump had been seeking a new nuclear deal to place limits on Iran's disputed uranium enrichment activities, but the talks have appeared to be deadlocked. The Trump administration has taken necessary steps to protect the U.S. forces and remain in close contact with regional partners. The international reaction after Israel's attack on Iran has begun. Speaking at a news conference moments after news of the Israeli attacks broke, Prime Minister of New Zealand Christopher Luxon and Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong reacted to the situation. Take a listen.
Development in the Middle East. The risk of miscalculation is high. That region does not need any more military action and risk associated with that.
Between Israel and Iran. This risks further destabilising a region that is already volatile. We call on all parties to refrain from actions and rhetoric that would further exacerbate tensions.
Akshay Dongre joins us for more from New Delhi. Good morning, Akshay. What is the latest that we are tracking on the attacks? Because we are seeing the constant remarks that the US is currently making.
A political and diplomatic statement as far as these attacks by Israel are concerned. First of all, they've said that this attack is unilateral, which means that US is not taking any kind of accountability for the attack. Second, it says that as far as the US soldiers and other personnel are deployed in the region, they should not be harmed. They should not be attacked by Iran in any way in any manner there as far as the deployment is there, because in that case US gets the right to retaliate. Again, US has also cautioned Iran of coming back to the discussion table and has said that it was apprised that Israel is going to attack the Iranian facilities as well as the military leadership. So it had an approval from the US, but US was not involved. And in any case of retaliation, when the US troop deployment there is in such high numbers, any kind of attack, any kind of damage to any US personnel or any kind of equipment will result in US taking sides of Israel, stating that we had already warned you that do not target us. Now that you are targeting us, we will be hitting you back. So it's a situation where Iran is now not only being forced by Israel as far as the conflict is concerned, but also pressurized by the US to return to the discussion table. However, the reports that are coming in are indicating that this can in fact invite retaliation from Iran. But whether it is going to be the similar kind of retaliation that Iran has already done in the past by launching several rockets at Israel, which were later on neutralized by the air defense system, that remains to be seen, because this has become a modus operandi. Iran launches attack at Israel, but they are all foiled, and then both sides claim victory. So if that happens, it's a good news for the region, but if not, this can have larger ramifications not only for the West Asian countries but for the entire world.
It's an official statement which has come from India. Let us show our viewers the official statement that has come from India. The statement says, and I quote the statement here, this is the official statement of India on the current situation. We are deeply concerned at the recent developments between Iran and Israel. We are closely monitoring the evolving situation, including reports related to attack on nuclear sites. India urges both the sides to avoid any escalatory steps. Existing channels of dialogue and diplomacy should be utilized to work towards a de-escalation of the situation and resolving underlying issues. India enjoys close and friendly relations with both the countries and stands ready to extend all possible support. Our mission in both the countries are in contact with the Indian community. All Indian nationals in the region are advised to exercise caution, stay safe and follow local security advisory, unquote. This is the official statement of India on the current situation. Going back to Akshay Dongre. Akshay, we remember the time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi has always been emphasizing on dialogue and diplomacy whenever such a crisis takes place. Whenever there is a...
Deepika, can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, Akshay, coming back to you again, we just read the statement of India on the current Israel situation, and this also reminds us of the day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi always constantly keeps emphasizing on dialogue and diplomacy, and the statement also resonates the same, that both the countries are in good terms with India and we really want peace. However, an advisory has also been issued. How do you see this current statement of India regarding the unfolding event there?
Well, as far as India's position is concerned, yes, India has always called for diplomacy and dialogue. And while the exchanges have started between the two countries, India will again, as far as PM's vision is concerned, we need a stable neighborhood. We need a stable region right next to us in the West Asia. That region is a major source of oil and other kind of fossil fuels are concerned. So we would want to have a peace in the region, but if everything goes out, all out between the two countries, India will have to be very, very cautious given the recent clashes with Pakistan. But also India will have to ensure that as far as all the supplies are concerned, they are reaching the country. And when it comes to the tensions in the region, India has reiterated again and again that conversation and dialogue and diplomacy is the way and not war. So we are likely to stick to that very position.
All right. Thank you so much, Akshay, for joining us and bringing us the latest on this current situation. Moving on now. A U.S. appeals court on Thursday temporarily allowed President Donald Trump to continue deploying National Guard troops in Los Angeles during the ongoing protests against intensified immigration enforcement. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals paused an earlier ruling by U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, who had declared the deployment unlawful and ordered the Guard returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom's control. Although the pause does not indicate the appeals court's final stand, it allows Donald Trump to retain authority over the Guard for now. The decision follows a week of protests centered around a federal detention center in downtown Los Angeles, where National Guard troops have been stationed. The Guard has also accompanied ICE agents during enforcement operations across the city. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Open your mind to a whole new world. Explore mystic wonders of nature in the forests.
तो मुझे देख के आपको लग रहा है कि मुझे इजी वाला देना चाहिए.
Uncover secrets hidden deep inside the earth.
And I'd always heard of this ancient Shiv Mandir which is inside a cave.
Experience the rich cultural legacy.
मुझे बताइए इस डांस फॉर्म के बारे में, इस आर्ट फॉर्म के बारे में.
Experience the blend of vibrant warmth and stunning creations.
It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Jharkhand. Let it become a part of you. Postcards from Jharkhand on National.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached the airport this morning to take stock of the situation at the site of the Air India flight crash. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Airport and drove straight to the crash site in Meghani Nagar area. These are the visuals that you can see where Prime Minister Narendra Modi was briefed by Union Civil Aviation Minister on the crash site. And in a tweet after the visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "The scene of devastation is saddening. Met officials and teams working tirelessly in the aftermath. Our thoughts remain with those who lost their loved ones in this unimaginable tragedy," quote unquote. He further said that we are all devastated by the air tragedy in Ahmedabad. The loss of so many lives in such a sudden and heartbreaking manner is beyond words. Condolences to all the bereaved families. We understand their pain and also know that the void left behind will be felt for years to come. Om Shanti. This has been the official tweet that came from the official account of Prime Minister Narendra Modi after he visited the crash site and also the civil hospital, met with all the stakeholders who are currently in the process of relief, rescue, DNA sampling, all the stakeholders who are also a part of the high-level committee as well. After being briefed about the situation at the crash site, he proceeded to the hospital where the injured were being treated. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu Kinjarappu, Union Minister of State Muralidhar Mohol and State Home Minister Harsh Sanghavi were also present with the Prime Minister at the crash site. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that the tragedy in Ahmedabad has stunned and saddened everyone. It is heartbreaking beyond words. In this sad hour, his thoughts are with everyone affected by it. The Prime Minister has been in touch with the ministers and the authorities who are working to assist those affected. Now, at least 241 people were killed after an Air India flight crashed near the Ahmedabad airport on Thursday in one of India's worst aviation disasters. The 787 Dreamliner, bound for London's Gatwick Airport, took off at 1:38 p.m. local Indian Standard Time and crashed just 5 minutes after it took off in a residential area. The plane crashed onto a medical college hostel during the lunch hour. Air India said 241 people on board the flight died, and the sole survivor, who was a British national of Indian origin, is in the hospital currently being diagnosed. He was in seat number 11A next to an emergency exit. The deceased include 169 Indians, 52 British nationals, 7 Portuguese and 1 Canadian passenger. Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was among those killed on the ill-fated Air India plane. In addition to his wife Anjali Rupani, the late leader is survived by their 2 children. Rupani served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat from August 2016 to September 2021 before resigning ahead of the 2022 state elections. The government has initiated a formal investigation into the tragic Air India plane crash. Civil Aviation Minister said, and I quote him, Following the tragic incident in Ahmedabad, a formal investigation has been initiated by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau in line with the international protocols set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Additionally, the government is constituting a high-level committee comprising experts from multiple disciplines to examine the matter in detail. The committee will work to strengthen aviation safety and prevent such incidents in future. Unquote. As most of the passengers were burnt to death, forensic experts say the only possible option for their identification is DNA profiling. The government is now undertaking DNA sampling process for the relatives, and the official number of deceased will be declared only after the completion of the DNA testing. Samples of 192 people have been taken so far for testing at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital. Police is taking special care of all these families and appropriately attending to their needs. In this difficult time, while offering them comfort, the police themselves are serving them tea, water and snacks. Now, while those survived the crash but sustained injuries continue to remain under the supervision of the top authorities at the civil hospital in Ahmedabad. Over 100 NBBS students of PJ Medical College at Meghani Nagar were having lunch in the boys' hostel mess on Thursday afternoon when the crash took place. The Federation of All India Medical Association said at least 5 MBBS students were killed and over 60 medical students were injured. Around 700 personnel of the paramilitary forces and 6 teams of the National Disaster Response Force or the NDRF are at the crash site since the incident took place. These people are working alongside the local administration to recover the bodies. NDRF DIG Hariom Gandhi said the total number of casualties will only be revealed after the site is completely cleared. Take a listen.
देखने के टीमें हमारी यहाँ पर हैं, स्टैंड बाय हैं, वो लोग अपना काम कर रही हैं। आप लोगों को देखिए हमारी 6 टीमें ऑलरेडी यहाँ पर हैं, वो लोग कल से काम कर रही हैं, सभी लोग मिलके काम कर रहे हैं। आप लोगों को जो भी होगा हम लोग बताएंगे, ठीक है? वेट फॉर सम टाइम।
Besides this, the US government agency, National Transportation Safety Board, would also be leading a team of American investigators to India to assist in the investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board is an independent US government investigative agency responsible for civil transportation accident investigations. NTSB said in a post on X, and I quote them, as per international protocols under the International Civil Aviation Organization's Annex 13, all information on the investigation will be provided to the NTSB by the Indian government. Also, the top US aviation body, the Federal Aviation Administration, is in contact with the NTSB regarding the Ahmedabad plane crash. Meanwhile, Air India Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Campbell Wilson visited the crash site this morning. Air India has set up Friends and Relatives Assistance Centres at Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Delhi and Gatwick airports. The centres will provide support and take care of the needs of the families and loved ones of those on the ill-fated flight AI-171. These centres are facilitating the travel of family members to Ahmedabad. Dedicated passengers hotline number for those calling from within India is 1800-5691-444. And those calling from outside India, they can call at +91 8062 77 9200. Regular updates will continue on Air India's X handle, which is Air India, and their official website as well, which is airindia.com. And further information comes to the hand from these websites. Air India also requests the media persons not to call the dedicated passenger hotline numbers. Now, Delhi International Airport on Friday confirmed that overall airport operations are running smoothly. However, due to evolving airspace conditions over Iran, Iraq and neighbouring region, some flight schedules have been impacted. The airport authorities added that they are closely monitoring the situation and coordinating with the airlines, air traffic control and government agencies to ensure passenger safety and minimize disruptions. Travellers have been urged to stay updated through airline notifications and the official social media handles of the Delhi airport for real-time information. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Ahmedabad this morning to take stock of the situation at the site of the Air India flight crash. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Airport and drove straight to the crash site in the Meghani Nagar area. In a tweet after the visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and I quote him, "The scene of devastation is saddening." He also said that he met the officials and teams working tirelessly in the aftermath. Our thoughts remain with those who lost their loved ones in this unimaginable tragedy. We are all devastated by the air tragedy in Ahmedabad. The loss of so many lives in such a sudden and heartbreaking manner is beyond words. Condolences to all the bereaved families. We understand their pain and also know that the void left behind will be felt for years to come. Om Shanti. Unquote. This is the tweet that has come from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's official social media handle after visiting the crash site and the civil hospital where the survivor and the injured are currently being treated. And now let's also get you the visuals of the review meeting that was taken by under the supervision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi with all the important stakeholders who are currently overseeing this entire process of how the situation is being handled in Meghani Nagar after the Ahmedabad plane crash took place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held this review meeting, this high-level committee meeting at Ahmedabad itself at the Civil Aviation Department office. There you can see the visuals there, the chief ministers, all the officials of the entire personnel deputed to oversee and handle this entire crisis situation. All the top stakeholders are currently attending the meeting. They attended the meeting. Their Civil Aviation Minister, the Union Civil Aviation Minister, is also present in the meeting. He was constantly in touch with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and constantly briefing Prime Minister Narendra Modi about the entire crash site, about the entire crash incident, how it took place, how it unfolded, what is it that the government is doing. Not only this, after that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with the injured people, met with the lone survivor at the civil hospital as well in Ahmedabad at Meghani Nagar. And after that, straight away, right after that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a high-level review meeting with all the important stakeholders, high-level stakeholders who are currently overseeing this entire operation, which is currently unfolding in Ahmedabad, of overseeing the entire crash site, investigating the matter, also securing the facts that can be secured to investigate the matter properly, because the US agencies are currently also on the site to investigate the matter. And not only this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of the entire situation and how the patients are being treated right now who are currently admitted at Ahmedabad's civil hospital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of each and every situation, inch by inch at the location and minute by minute of how everything unfolded right from the time in the afternoon hours of yesterday when the entire incident took place to the current situation, to the current moment where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is monitoring the entire situation round the clock and ensuring that the operation happens in a very proper manner and no lapse can be seen in any of the phases, in any of the steps that the current government of India is taking place to ensure that everything happens. And the fact of the matter comes out. The fact of the matter will also comes out when the black box will be there, will be recovered by the authorities. But before that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself chairing a meeting with the ministers and senior officials at Ahmedabad airport to take a stock of situation in the wake of Air India plane crash. As you can see on the visuals, there will be many other updates which will be coming as the day progresses, because the government of India is committed to ensure that everything happens in a very planned and well executed manner and no lapse can be seen in any of the processes that the current government of India is witnessing And the entire process is currently undertaking. The Union Civil Aviation Minister is currently there. There are other ministers also present. There are other also authorities present at this particular high-level meeting. And not only this, as we learned from the tweet from Union Civil Aviation Minister, a different high-level committee has also been constituted to investigate the current matter. And as we just told you, the US independent agencies will also be helping India to investigate the matter properly, because that was a London-bound flight. And India will be taking the help of the international authorities as well to currently investigate the matter, because this has happened for the first time probably, that such a horrific incident took place. Within 5 minutes, the plane took off and crashed at a residential area in Ahmedabad airport, where the only lone survivor is currently admitted at the civil hospital there in Ahmedabad's Meghani Nagar, and the rest 241 passengers succumbed to the incident, to the accident, to the horrific accident that took place. The bodies will be handed over to the families of the deceased once the DNA sampling will be completed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking stock of the entire procedure and the next action also which the government is going to take place to ensure that everything happens in a very well-mannered and proper manner. Well, the sole survivor of the crash, who is a British national of Indian origin, is in the civil hospital of Meghani Nagar, Ahmedabad. TD India correspondent spoke to him a short while ago. Take a listen.
The lone survivor who miraculously survived this fatal air crash is with us, is undergoing treatment at the civil hospital in Ahmedabad. What was the situation yesterday? Can you describe for us, please?
I can't explain. Everything happened in my eye. I can't.
How did you manage to escape? Did you pull the emergency doors?
No. Emergency door is broken.
Yeah.
My seat is broken.
Yeah.
Then I see the pace little bit.
Yeah.
Then I will try to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
So, did the aircraft catch fire before you came out?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit fire. After me, I'm out. Then blast.
So, did anybody help you, or you after that you came out on your own? How did you jump from the aircraft?
I'm not jumping.
Okay.
I just walk out. Okay.
Okay.
Then ambulance coming in.
You did walk out on the building, or
No, in floor.
on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
Inside the aeroplane.
Only there.
Yeah.
So, and you managed to get into the ambulance there? What did Prime Minister tell you? What was the conversation?
He's just asking me everything is okay. That's it.
You're feeling better now?
Yes.
And where your family? Where's your family?
Everybody is in London. Yes. Me and my brother staying in India last 8-9 months. And yesterday I was going to back to London. It happened everything there.
How do you feel that you have survived this kind of?
I can't explain. It's miracle everything.
So here we have the lone survivor of the attack, definitely at a loss of words of what he saw yesterday, and definitely something that nobody can encapsulate in words in terms of the massive tragedy that has struck with this airplane crash. What we also understand that this lone survivor is the only witness of what had happened that day. Besides, a number of people who were at the hostel mess during lunch have also faced serious injuries and are being treated at this hospital, the civil hospital here in Ahmedabad. With camera person Vinod Oja, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
And we wish for the speedy recovery of the lone survivor and the others who were injured. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India, and we'll keep getting you the latest that is currently unfolding in Ahmedabad's Meghani Nagar. Keep watching DD India for all latest news and updates. Namaskar.